Good seeing you again. How you been? Fun as always, huh?
Thanks, man. That's not bad. I mean, probably adds it, I think.
Let us go to God in prayer. Let us bow our heads in a moment of reflection and invocation. All-wise, eternal, everlasting, and loving God, we thank you for bringing us all here together in this community, uniting our purpose and our hope. We ask for forgiveness of all of our evil and wrongdoing. We ask that you would unite us in this purpose and this hope. We ask for guidance as we come together to discuss the needs and desires, the concerns and the dreams of our town. Give us clarity, courage, and conviction, wisdom in all deliberation, presence in our disagreements, and let us be thoughtful, respectful, positive in our comments. Bless our mayor, Mayor Popo, his family, his town. Father, we pray that you would bless all the incumbent councilors and their families and their wards. Father, most of all, we pray that you would be with our councilman, Anthony Marshall, of Ward East Biloxi. Bless, Father, each person here today. Father, bless all of our city officials, all of the employees of this great city of Biloxi. Bless all of our comments. Bless these listeners. Bless those, Father, who will be hearers. And bless this purpose and this production. And we ask it all in the wonderful name of our Christ we pray. Let us all say amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sarah. At this time, we will yield the floor to the person who brought us all here this afternoon. I give you Councilman Anthony Marshall.
Hello, everybody. Okay, my name is Marshall. I go by the name Marshall. You don't have to call me by my first name. You can call me Anthony. Just like this gentleman right here. Like you call Buffalo, everybody know what you're talking about. So when you say Marshall, everybody know what you're talking about, unless I owe you money, that's not me. Alright, I got a couple people I want to change the meeting agenda just a little bit. I got a couple people that have to go. There's several events going on. There's one people that has to go to another event. Also, we have a topic that was not on the agenda. I didn't put it on the agenda on purpose, but it is important to our community. It is a topic about school choice, and it's going to be briefing presented to you by the school superintendent. He also has a number of meetings to go to. Let me say this. If anybody here is sure that all these departments are here, it's hard, it's going to be impossible for everyone to get all your questions answered. What I'm going to suggest is that we also have what's called breakout sessions, where we just invite one department at a time, and we'll sit there in a smaller venue, smaller group, and we'll go one-on-one with the Parks and Recreation. We'll go one-on-one with Public Works or Engineering. That way they can answer your questions directly. We're going to make sure that our CAO is there, and that way we know that we're not just having a meeting just to be having a meeting, we're having a meeting to get results. Okay? First going to be the mayor, after the mayor is going to be the school superintendent. Then we're going to try to get back on track.
Thank you, and I think Marshall, like the Marshall Plan, right? You know, we're on to, so this is the Marshall Plan first meeting. But I do thank everyone, a lot of smiling faces here, and you know, we do interact, and I think that's we all belong to, and this is what it's about. And you know, we're happy to be here part of. Hey, let's talk to one another, figure out where we're going. Of course, Pastor Taylor, he blessed us. You know, so we're all going to heaven, right? You know, but we got to stay here a little while, right? So I thank you for everything, and again, we'll do everything they can to let everybody know, you know, we're here to serve our community, to make our community better. So God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, how are y'all today? I want
want to start by thanking Mr. Marshall for giving me the opportunity to speak here before all of you today. And I'm coming to you with a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I'm passionate about it from a public school perspective. Now, I don't know how everybody intends to vote when it comes to school choice, but my job as a public educator is to give you my perspective as to what I think school choice will mean for the state of Mississippi, and specifically to Biloxi. So that's why I'm here tonight. Again, like I said earlier, we can have differences of opinion. I just want to give you my perspective. So if you don't know much about school choice essentially has two components to it. The first of those components is public dollars being able to go to private education. Private education being non-public schools, such as private schools or home schools. The second portion of that is school choice, where you can transfer from one public school district to another public school district, regardless of where you live, regardless of where you pay taxes. You can essentially go to school anywhere you wish. I'm going to tell you why I'm opposed to this, and I'm going to kind of stay in those two lanes with this. There's a lot more components to it, but in those two main lanes, I'm going to tell you why I'm opposed to it. When it comes to public to private, if you read the Mississippi Constitution, it is very, very clear. It says that no school that operates as a sectarian school or as a school that is not free to everyone should receive public funds. So right now, public schools receive state dollars to educate our students. That's not allowed to go to private schools. Under school choice, students would be able to get vouchers that allow them to take public dollars from the state and take that to private schools or take it to homeschool themselves. Essentially, treat your taxes like a savings account. Or you have the right to go take your taxes out for a savings account. When I view public entities like public schools, I view them just like public sanitation, just like public works, just like any public facilities or utilities that we have available to us. We don't get the option to opt out of those and not pay those tax dollars. They are there to serve the better of the public good. Public education is the exact same way. So when you look at funding on public schools, each school gets $6,800 roughly $6,800 from the state per student that is enrolled in our public schools. That is the voucher that these folks will be able to take to private schools or to homeschool. Would be about $6,800 coming from the state. The problem is that's not the amount of money it takes to educate a student. And I can only use figures from the Biloxi Public School District. We pay about $12,500 per student to educate a student. And the reason is because our community has an expectation for good education. Our community has an expectation that we do well. We're an A-rated school district consistently. Our community asks that we keep class sizes small. Our community demands that we have excellence for our kids. So we're willing to spend well above and beyond that. So when you subtract that number from the $12,500 that we spend to educate a student, that means local taxpayers are the ones that are paying that difference. We as Biloxians are paying the difference in those taxes. Well, when your public dollars are going somewhere else, it's devaluing your tax dollars at work here within your local community. Another major problem is there are currently about 52,000 students that are currently enrolled in private school or currently enrolled in homeschool programs. 52,000. Some people estimate that to be as high as 75,000. If each of those existing individuals gets a voucher from the state, you take that money, that $6,800 that the state gives to each student, that's $355 million new dollars that the state has to come up with for public education. That's new money. That's without a single kid ever leaving public ed. That's new dollars that will have to be come up with annually by the state of Mississippi. And let's keep in mind, as a state, we just decided last year to slowly cut down our income tax over the years. So we don't know what revenue streams are necessarily going to look like in the coming years. To put that in perspective, what $355 million is, that's enough to fund the Biloxi Public School District for 10 years. We get $35.8 million annually from the state of Mississippi to educate our kids. The rest of our nearly $90 million budget comes from locals. It comes from gaming. It comes from all the things that we have here within our community. So that's why I'm opposed to the public dollars going to private schools. Now, I'm not saying I'm opposed to private schools. I think every single family has the right to make what decision is best for them and their family. Many people go to private schools for religious purposes. Many people go to private schools because they want a smaller environment or whatever the case may be. And everyone has the right to do that. The big problem is, whenever you separate us into these two systems, we don't have to play by the same rules. So the reason that public dollars don't go to private schools is because private schools don't have to follow the same rules that public education does. As public educators, We have to educate every child that walks through the door. It doesn't matter if they have a disability. It doesn't matter if they have behavioral problems. It doesn't matter what the situation is. We are required by law to educate them. Private schools don't have to do that. They don't have to follow those same rules. They don't have to accept all students. They don't have to have state assessments. They don't have to have accountability. They don't have to follow state regulations. They don't have to have fiscal audits. They're not always governed by a school board. We're governed by a board. We have to have fiscal audits. We have to follow federal laws. We have to make sure that your tax dollars are spent correctly. You don't have that in private schools. So by giving that public money to the private, non-public schools, we create two completely inequitable systems. Now let's talk a little bit about public-to-public transfers. This would be where one student's going to leave a public school and go to another public school. I'm opposed to this for many reasons, but primarily because Mississippi is a state built on communities. We're built on community pride. Communities are what make up us. We make up the community. We decide how to value education. We decide what we think is important. And to start moving our tax dollars from one location to another starts to take away from that community. If students can enroll anywhere they want, what does it mean to be a Biloxi Indian? What does it mean to be an Ocean Springs Greyhound? What does it mean to be a Diamond Warrior? Any other local icon that you have, or any kind of local mascot that you have? We have pride in our communities. So let's use Biloxi as an example. We are allowed to assess up to 55 mills for operational costs of the school system on the taxpayers. We only assess 43.5 mills is what we're currently assessing on our local taxpayers. And the reason we're able to assess at a local value is because we have the benefit of gaming. Gaming is located here within the city limits of Biloxi. The school system gets money monthly. And we were able to offset your tax dollars and keep your millage low by having those gaming dollars. We still put a high value on education. We're just using gaming to supplement that. How is it equitable or how is it fair if you're a resident of Harrison County and you're not dealing with casinos? You're not dealing with all the things that we have in our backyard that allow us those advantages, but you're able to come here and you're able to attend school even though you're not a Biloxi taxpayer. I'll use another example of that. You go right next door to Ocean Springs. Ocean Springs assesses their citizens at 67 mills. So I told you you can have 55 operational mills is what you can assess up to, but they have gone out to their taxpayers and they've done a bond and said, well, you pay 12 additional mills on top of the maxed out 55 mills. Do you value education as a community at that point to build new buildings, to be able to bring good things in for our students? And their voters have approved that. So they're paying 67 mills there. So again, if you're a resident of Biloxi and you're paying 43 mills in tax dollars, but you take your children and go over to Ocean Springs, their taxpayers pay 67 mills. So you're living in a community pay lower millage, but you're relying on the taxpayers of Ocean Springs to pay a higher millage rate for the value of that education. So I don't know if so many people really realize all those tax implications and all those money implications that are involved in this. But at the end of the day, public education is vital to the success of Mississippi. 91% of Mississippi school children depend on public education. 91%. What this is being sold as, school choice, those that are in favor of it, they sell it as an opportunity for poor students to have the ability to be able to leave a poor-performing school system and go to another school system. I've been doing this for 24 years. I'm going to tell you what the reality of that is. The school systems that are poor and students want to get out of, those that are going to be able to leave those poor school systems are the students that have the economic means to leave those school systems. The students that do not have the economic means are going to be stuck in that same school system. And now that school system is going to have a lower enrollment, it's going to have less money, it's going to have less teachers, and bad is going to get worse for those same students that this is being sold as a savior for. Kids need public ed. They need it to be equitable, and they need to rely on us, and they need to know that public education is always going to be there for them to take care of them. Mississippi will never prosper as a state until we really support public education. And here's what I want to remind everybody. We have vastly improved education over the last 15 years in Mississippi. Everyone in this room remembers when Mississippi was the laughingstock of public ed. When we were 50th and everything, and every state was like, thank God for Mississippi, because we're not last. We are not that anymore. Mississippi right now is ranked 16th in overall NAEP scores and how much we have improved over the last decade. Mississippi's fourth graders are ranked number 1 in the nation in reading improvement in 4th grade over the last 10 years. We are doing great things in public education. We are making meteoric rises, and we are bettering the entire state of Mississippi. School choice will derail that. So what I was just explaining to you will create essentially a system of have and have not schools. The have schools are going to have lots of students coming to them, they're going to thrive. The have not schools are going to wither on the vine. How many people in the room are college sports fans? If you watch college sports, you'll know that in today's day and age, NIL, transfer portal, that's all changed the system. That's what high school sports are going to come if we have school choice. Students are going to be declaring that they're going to bring their services to other school districts. Students are going to jump from one school system to the next where they think they have the best opportunity to win. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to see some school systems lose their programs. They're not going to be able to sustain it. As enrollment goes down, as funds go down, the first things that school systems are going to have to cut, we're going to have to cut extracurriculars. We're going to have to cut athletics. We're going to have to cut arts. We're going to have to cut those things that aren't necessarily academically required. Mississippi's in great shape. I think if we do this, we really go back 70 years and we recreate segregation in the state of Mississippi if this happens. I don't know that it would necessarily be racial segregation, but it would definitely create socioeconomic segregation across the state of Mississippi. So I beg you to please do your own research. I beg you to look into school choice and not just take it at face value. And I beg you to go look at research as to what has happened to the states that do currently have school choice. If you go look at their performance data, their students are not performing well in school choice states. Their students have actually gone down in academic performance since school choice was introduced. I recently heard from a Florida superintendent, which Florida is a school choice state. He said in the 4 years since school choice was introduced, his school district has lost $60 million in funding, his enrollment is decreasing, and they are now faced with the fact that they have to close down extracurricular activities. Additionally, he has seen 23, they've gone from 11 to 23 private schools inside his county since school choice started. And that, at the end of the day, is where this is coming from. I hate to say it this way, folks, but it's a money grab. There's a lot of money to be had in education. This is basically an effort to privatize education so that private organizations can come in and start taking a piece of that pie and not be held accountable. Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Mr. Martin, I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight.
Show of hands. How many of you have seen this before? Under a different name. Show of hands. Don't be ashamed. Speak up. How many of you have lived through this? How many of you have suffered through this? Show of hands. Don't be ashamed. Speak up. Don't make me stand here by myself. I think you got a problem over here.
I just want to say a lot of that stuff you said is true. But what we need to do is speak up before it gets too bad. Because they're taking money from the college. What's going to stop the education from development?
So just to let you know, this is going to be a topic. This is being pushed heavily by the Mississippi legislature in this upcoming legislative session. As you know, the legislative session will begin in January. But the word on the street currently is that if the governor feels like he has enough votes in the House, that he's going to call a special legislative session in October and try to push this through. And it's going to be coupled with the teacher pay raise, and it's going to be coupled with fixing the PERS retirement system. So they're basically going to try to sweeten the pot and say, if you don't want to vote for school choice, you're voting against teachers. You're voting against the teacher pay raise. So my question is, if we can give teachers a pay raise and we can fix the retirement system, then why do we have to have school choice as a part of it? We should be held hostage to have those three things put together. Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. I graduated in 86 boys, and we had a conversation about an hour about the gymnasium's name. You're in your community, and Jackie Laird came to as a Caucasian man. He had the nuts and the balls to do so. He took us to doctor's appointments. He kept us out of trouble. He was more than a basketball coach. Can you tell this audience the same thing you told me of why Biloxi has the only gymnasium on this Gulf Coast not named after the historic mentor and teacher and coach like Jackie Laird?
Yes, sir. So in Biloxi schools, we have made the decision that we are not naming facilities after individuals. And the reason that we're not naming facilities after individuals is because we never know what's going to come out in the future. And additionally, every generation has different icons that come along. And what is an icon to one generation is not necessarily an icon to the next generation. So we do not name things after individuals. So I'm sorry, it's just a stand from Biloxi Public School District has taken. I don't know if that's what I told you back then, but
Again, he kept a lot of people out of jail.
I agree. Coach Slater was my driver's ed teacher. I know exactly who he is. He was a great man. I'm not denying that. But there's lots of great, wonderful people that go through our school system as educators. There's no point.
Well, tell that to birthday kids and tell that to the people at Moss Point and these other gymnasiums that name something after their coaches. All right. In reference to the school choice, do I have the right marching order? Yes. Am I speaking correctly for this community? Yes. And I remember some of you sit right in this audience when they tried to shut down Memphis. And I'm sitting there. I know they was coming to their house every evening. I said, we not going to let them shut down school there. And where's the school at? Next thing off the agenda is that two things. One, I'm going to introduce my fellow city council members. I'm asking that they stand forward, just holler out their name, who they are, because they also have another event to go to. Fellow city council members, please come forward. Shoemaker, they include you. That's how you can school.
Jamie Creer, Ward 4. Mike Dale, Ward 3. David Shoemaker, Ward 7. Wayne Gray, Ward 1.
Thank y'all. I'm going to realize that the job of city council is actually part-time. And they also have their own jobs, their own families, their own careers. And I thank them for coming out to our community to hear what we got going on in our community and to show us support. That's very, very important. It saves a lot. The next thing is that when I was running for office, I asked the community what they want. One of the things that they wanted was bus stops. You have to be able to walk all the way up to that bus station on the other side of the tracks. So I immediately started working on that. And when the budget came, there was a budget crisis. We're not going to discuss that. We're going to pray on it tonight. However, we're working on an agreement with CTA. And I'm going to ask that they come forward because I'll be there for the rest of the year also. And we're also we'll get to the department in a minute. But CTA, they have some good news for us. And it's not going to cost us anything. It just took somebody to sit there and figure out what can we do together. I'll take it back. It's going to cost us, but it's going to do in the budget that's already allocated. All right.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nina Barrios. I'm the new Executive Director of Coast Transit Authority. I arrived in Gulfport August 4th, and I'm really excited to be here. I came in during budget time. It's been fun. And with me tonight, I have Mr. Chris Foray. He's our Assistant Executive Director. And I'm really honored to work with Horace Councilman and moving forward with this community. And he asked us to please provide service along Division Street. And Division was an area that was underserved. And as part of our subsidy request, to go in line with the subsidy request, to please take a look at that. And so I promised him that I would do that along with my team. And as I understand it, we had some service in that area about 10 years ago, long before my tenure. And so it will go back into service. We do have some maps here today that we printed out that we're proposing. We would like your feedback. We brought 12 to be exact, but we do lay out the stops so you can see them. And we're going to go ahead and put some out here at some of these tables so you can take a look at them. But essentially, October 31st on Halloween, CTA is getting rid of their hail system. For those of y'all that are taking the bus, public transit, you know that you can literally hail the bus down wherever you are, and you don't necessarily have to be at a bus stop, okay? So that ends on Halloween. Stops will be there, and they're there for your safety, your children's safety, your family's safety, and our community and our visitors. It's time to do away with that and making sure that we are more efficient in getting to your stops on time. And it's very hard to get to the stops on time when you're having to stop all along the way if someone's waving you down, okay? So I thank you all so very much. I do hope, again, please give your feedback to your councilman, once you've looked over our maps, and I'll have Chris talk a little bit about the stops real quick.
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm Chris Foray, Assistant Executive Director of Coast Transit, and Councilman Marshall did ask us to look this way before budget time and say, hey, what can we do to put stops back on the business street? We had them before, we're not suggesting we're definitely looking at that. So some of the things we're looking at proposing, basically looking at, as Annette just mentioned, the Ocean Springs route. What that's going to do is when that Ocean Springs bus leaves the Biloxi Transit Center, it will go up Raynor to the Division, run all the way down to Benton Street, Oak Street, back down to 90 before it gets out, both coming and going. So what that's going to look like is that's going to put 6 additional stops, both running east and west on Division Street, and maybe stops along the way. That's going to cover the whole length of Division, and then 2 additional stops north and south on Oak Street. So that's what we're looking at. As mentioned, we're going to put maps here on the front table. Y'all take a look at them. Please give Councilman Marshall your feedback. But that's what we're looking at. We want to get final approval on. Like I said, this is not a new route, but with addition, with the already approved subsidy, that's the route alteration is what we're looking at to provide service on Division Street. So any questions? Again, let Councilman Marshall know. You can call CTA. You can ask for me if you want to. I'll give you, my information and answer any questions you may have as well about this. So here again, thank you.
We're moving forward. And get something done, we get something done. Is there anyone else that I missed that needs to be as elected official, works for the city, or should I ask to show up here? Mine is going a little blank. That needs to get to the next meeting. Anyone else here? That needs to get to the next meeting, that's a public official, doing work for the city. I don't want to think I missed anybody. Okay. So let's look at that. We'll get back on the agenda. Before I do that, I do have this map. I'm going to make sure it's distributed throughout. I can't throughout all the different churches, and where I can, so you can see where they proposed that. As I don't know if he was very clear, they have to take this to their board also to get it approved, but it's well on the way. Okay. It was done in a way that doing out my, we're a little bit of a crunch right now. It was done in a way that the rerouting specifically to catch us up. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you looking out for us. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to turn back over to the lady of the hour. She's going to put us back on track from the agenda.
I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself. I'm Joyce Battle, president of the East Biloxi City Group. At this time, we're going to have the participating departments. So, how do we want to start? We have one female.
All right, I can go first. Hello, everybody. I'm Crystal Bottom. It is on my face.
I'm the Director of Engineering. I'm going to give you a quick update of some projects that we have going on in the ward. Some things that are under design, some things that are planned. As you know, as we all remember, looking through the infrastructure line contract, a lot of utility work is already been done. That's where the wall's sitting. So we don't have a lot of utility work, but we do have some projects going on that will help the community as a whole. First thing we'll talk about is the Keegan Bayou sediment removal. We got a Go Basin grant for just over $2 million to come in and clean up Keegan Bayou. Keegan Bayou has never been cleaned up since Hurricane Katrina. Katrina, there were a lot of environmental restraints that wouldn't let us get in there. We have gotten permission to go in and clean that up all the way from Division Street to the mouth of the bayou. So not only does it open it up for water flow, which helps the environment and the fish and all that stuff, but it also helps the drainage. We have a lot of flooding that happens right there on Division Street, so we're very excited to get that done for a bunch of different reasons. We also have, and this is on the far side of the ward, on one of the ward lines, a new traffic signal going in at Pastor Road Burn. One of the things that we do that for, right now it's on 5 wires. We've gone in and we're going to put, it's going to be on mast arm. That helps so that when storms do come, we don't lose our signals. Helps keep them a little bit more resilient during storms. So we got a new grant for that for a little over $700,000. That's in the process. We're still trying to acquire the property that we need, but it's moving along. Something else that we've done recently, this is actually done by Main Street with help from the city of Biloxi, life under I-110 Bridge in the Howell Hop area. The first phase of that was done. I don't know if y'all seen it at night, but it looks really good. There's LED lights that shine down underneath the I-110 on the park area there. They change the colors, they do all kinds of, instead of the music, they do all kinds of really cool stuff. They, like I said, phase 1, eventually, as Main Street is applied for more funding, it's going to continue all the way to the north side, where the skate park and all that is. So that's been a lot of work there. We've been helping support them to get that work done. Also, on the radar is Sherman King Fishing Dock. That dock, I don't know how many of you go down there very often. I know it's not one where we go by or shrimp off the boat, but that dock is in very poor condition. As we all know, the seafood industry is very important to us here, especially in this part of town. It needs to be reconstructed, so we've been applying for grants to try to get some work done down there. Those boats that come in there are they're big boats. They're heavy. They beat that dock out to pieces. So we've been working on trying to get some grants to make repairs to that dock. We also have the East Biloxi Connector Road, which is going to be the next phase on the north side of the railroad tracks. We've already done a section from Porter to Queerens. We're not going to do the next section from Queerens to Benaki. What that does is it gives a connector road on the north side so that we can look at closing some of those crossings at both Benaki and Queerens, which are very dangerous crossings, as you probably know. We do still have, I'm nervous to bring it up because I know it's a very touchy subject, but we do still have the East Biloxi Recreational Complex out there. The project's been designed. We've been looking for funding, along with a lot of these other projects, but that project is sitting out there, sitting on go, waiting for some funding. I think that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions for me from the engineering? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I live on Jefferson Street, down in South Y'all have road projects all the way from. I'm busy looking, and I said, Jefferson Street is not good. They have road projects right there in College Street,
your calls and what's been happening. Typically, when we have a smelly water complaint, odor water complaint, we do flush the hydrants. That's typical. Because basically what happens, especially if you're part of town that doesn't have as much usage, that the water just gets stagnant in the pipes. So we flush the hydrants. That's why when you see the hydrants running throughout the city, that's what we're doing, is to try to get that water through the system so it doesn't get that odor to it. In areas like yours, where we have continual problems, we will put automatic flushes on the hydrants so that we can keep that water flushed out. Now, as for when are we gonna get to your area, the areas that we did in that part of town, this is really, we'll can talk more about this, but just short part version of that is that FEMA funded the parts that were inundated by Katrina, and I know, we all know that those maps were not exactly right. But that's where we had to go by with what they gave us and where they agreed to pay for those utilities to be repaired. So there are a couple of streets that we've been hearing about that are having issues with utilities. Some of them with paving, like we have a couple of streets that need to be paved. So we're looking at trying to get all of those. I don't have a time frame for you now, but they are on our way. Yes, sir. Well,
and you said we were inundated right here in this department. 20 years after snow, we still haven't had any drainage or water put down here in the area. We wasn't getting the problem. Right up to the place.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I will pass this on. Thank you. And I'll be here afterwards if anybody has any more questions or concerns. Yes, ma'am.
Actually speak on why you're thus, whether or not you've been researching any grants to restore or clean up why you're thus.
Yes, so we actually, I can't remember how long ago, we did a restoration project in Bayou Gus. It's been quite a few years. It needs to be done again. It's on our list to have come in and dredge it again and get it cleaned back out because it fills in pretty regularly because it's such a small little bayou. Right now, I don't have a time frame. We have a lot of dredging that needs to be done throughout the city. It is on our list, but we don't have a plan at this time to get it done. Well, we chose to keep in mind because the flooding that was happening up on Division Street, and it was impacting houses, the housing authority, it was backing up on the Keesler, so that was why that one was picked. If it's flooding on Bayou Gus, if it's getting into those houses there, please call us and let us know, because it makes a big difference in how we decide which areas are next.
If it's smelling, you should automatically do it, right? If it's smelling, you should automatically do it, right? Putting bleach down your drain in your commode to get the stuff to keep the smell from coming into the house. Even the sewage that's going backing up in folks' tubs. They had to stall all these tubs out. But we need the gym. We need a lot of stuff in water too. Main Street don't have anything. Nothing. When I was a child, on both sides, we had a show. We had we had restaurants. You know, we had stuff. Now we got to go across the track to get a good meal. But we can get a good meal at home. Amen. But I'm just saying, if we gonna get it right, do it all. Don't go down and water whatever. We need some help here in water too. And people come in town, all they see across the track looking good. But back there, we like a ghost town. I remember I told Coco Gilly, the last week not clean to. God's gonna open up this water too. He's gonna open it up because the people that's been in there ain't been doing nothing, okay? I'm just being honest about it. I don't care if you like me or don't like it. But the truth gonna set me free, amen? Amen.
to all the directors here, let me ask that you point out the things for Ward 2. Ward 2. And it's easy to point to things that are around Ward 2. But we're here concerned about Ward 2. If you can do that, it might kind of hold things down a little bit. Okay, Ward 2, we're going to concentrate on the projects. Any of the subjects that you're talking about, we're going to limit it to Ward 2.
With that being said, would you please hold your questions until everyone has spoken? And we do have on your agenda a question and answer period. Now we'll have the Park and Rec Director.
Is that better? How's everybody doing? My name is Jamie Lee. I'm the Assistant Director of the City of Biloxi Parks and Recreation Department. And just kind of want to go over an overview of some things that we are doing within the department that is citywide, but we'll get to your ward as well. We have our youth football and cheerleading, which will actually begin this Saturday out at the A.J. Holloway Sports Complex. We do have adult softball going on right now, as well as the all girls softball league about to start here in a few weeks also. Youth soccer will be registering pretty soon as well, so be on the lookout for that. And we have our Halloween on Howard event, which will be on Saturday, October 25th, which will start right there at People's Bank and end up at the community market underneath the I-110. We have been working hard on a couple of your parks in the area with Beck Park and Bush Park. Recently, we did some cleaning up in Beck Park, working on getting the bathrooms fixed so those can be operational again, doing some cosmetic cleaning, getting some areas cleaned up. Along the fence lines there, we are in the process, hopefully within the next few weeks, of getting the fences fixed there as well. We've partnered with the police department to try to have a little better control over that area and try to clean it up so our youth and the kids can enjoy the splash pads, the play structures and different things like that that the park has to offer. We just recently repaired the pavilion at Bush Park right there on Estes. There were some pieces that's been missing for a while, and we felt it was time to go ahead and get that fixed, so we got that metal and that roofing fixed. So and we're going to continue to work hard. The Civic Center across the street there, I think Howard Avenue is your dividing line from Ward 2 and Ward 1. So you do have the Civic Center in Ward 2 that is constantly being booked out, rented. Such a wonderful facility. This one is constantly being rented as well, and we're going to continue to help generate some revenue for the city with all of our rentals. For anyone who is interested in renting any of those facilities, parks included, please come by and see us in the office. We can help guide you in the right direction, let you know exactly what you need to do, hopefully help you with your special events that needs to happen along with the police department. So we're there for you, we're here for you, and anybody that needs us, we're there. Thank you.
Again, you write your questions down, and we will address them when everyone is over. Okay, now we'll have the
Good evening. So the question of the infrastructure, if you don't mind, if it's okay, I'm going to go to maps. If everybody can see the maps over this way, and if you cannot see if that's clear right now, if you want to talk after me. Some of the question that came up, I believe, was, well, let me just tell you where we started and where we're at now. The FEMA-funded infrastructure program see all these areas in color on Back Bay, Biloxi, up here by Chukabuff, Needle Point, all along here, along our beach, down here, one of this East 1 and 2, Jefferson, all our streets here, Lee Street. All this was estimated and agreed upon by FEMA as areas that needed repair because the amount of floodwaters that hit after Katrina. And by floodwaters, what FEMA determined from the study out by, I think, University of Texas or Texas A&M back in like 2006 or 7, what FEMA decided was anywhere there's at least 3 feet of standing water above the roads or the ground, the pressure could have caused or did cause the old sewer pipes, the Mason, the old boy pipes, to potentially break or come loose at their joints. That's why it looks so strange to people that aren't from around here, but as you can imagine, when Hurricane Katrina came up, we had floodwaters that hit from the Gulf of America, the Back Bay, the rivers, whatever you call that, Gulf of America. Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whichever way. The Gulf of Mexico after Katrina. The water pressure damaged the pipes. So what people did was they said, okay, wherever you had at least 3 feet of water above grade, we're going to say those areas are eligible for repair and replace. And FEMA in 2008 agreed the amount of funding necessary was $344 million in 2008. That's when FEMA approved the scope of work for repairs, and they approved the amount of funding. And that funding doesn't come to the city. If you're not aware how FEMA works, those funds go to the state. They sit up there in Jackson. The city has to pay every single invoice and every single pay application out of city funds. We have to show the state agency, FEMA, this is the Emergency Management Agency, the pay application, the approval by council, the check that was sent to the contractor or the design engineer firm, and the cancel check before the state will even refund any monies to the city. So a lot of it is a bit of a cash flow issue. You can't have so much cash going out to do some of the repairs if the money's not coming back quickly enough to return to the city coffers. But having said that, out of the $344 million in infrastructure work, all these projects have been completed. These last 2 areas are under construction, as you know, along the beach between the Bees and Veterans, and over here between Holly and Point Cadet. Yes, ma'am. I'm glad we're having this. Yes, ma'am. Your Ward 2B is a perfect time for this because it's very germane and timely to the issues we have at hand. Again, FEMA funded this project, or estimated and agreed to the funds in 2008. What they didn't do, or they refused to do, is to allow for potential cost of inflation. Now, this project is its entire infrastructure. You've got to put in new water and sewer while the old water and sewer remains active until such time you can switch everybody over. It's very time consuming to put in new water and sewer drainage while you're keeping the old water and sewer to everybody's services and their residences. It's just a slow nature of work. So we told FEMA, look, you never accounted for it. 2008 is now 2025, 17 years later. We don't have enough funds. FEMA said, well, you got to figure it out, city was. So what we have right now, we have sufficient amount of funds to finish the current 2 projects. We believe we have, based on estimates, we have enough funds to do the next project, Rod 9. However, your area, there aren't enough funds. Yes, ma'am.
Highway 90 could have waited. That's a blessing for y'all. What about the
FEMA has the funds. They don't want to send any more money down here. We told them. They're supposed to.
Who approved for the projects to be done on Highway 90? Who sent those in for those to be approved on Highway 90?
These projects were set up by a previous project management firm called HNTB because you have to install the deep.
I'm gonna ask everybody to calm down. Let me finish. We're gonna go to the next person. We're gonna make the question and answer. We're gonna finish out what we're gonna do. Okay, I don't wanna miss out on the other things that we need to know. Worry about piping underground, which is important. But we don't, probably here, we got a lot of issues. Do everybody know this line? Yeah, we're gonna do with the questions and answers here, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have to install your deepest sewer first. Everything flows down to your deep sewer. All these areas, now, all this project up here, everything in here was done prior to I came on board with the city. Osprey, as you know, the North Contract, as they call it, and you know how tough that was for everybody. I was already 2 years into the project when I came on board, and the new Mayor Gill said, look, we need some help. They got rid of the former project management firm, they brought me on as a city employee to get these projects complete. And we had to get the North Contract complete. We had to complete the deepest sewer because the sewer over here in your area, going this east to about Jefferson, this currently goes on the railroad tracks. It's an old sewer pipe. And the way it's designed to take care of that is to get it to flow to these other areas we've just completed. You gotta take care of the deep sewer, the water and everything, yes ma'am. But the point is we work, every 2 weeks we have a conference call with FEMA, and a lot of times FEMA's on that call. And they've known for years of this problem. To the point where we're like, look, we need the additional funding. Here's the estimates by the design engineers for one of this East 1 and 2. That was done by the state. And FEMA basically said, well, that's too bad. I said, well, you didn't account for inflation, and you're supposed to. It's in your regulations. We have appealed to the state. They sent it on to FEMA. FEMA denied it. We are currently in the process of a second appeal, which goes to Washington, D.C. We are working with our MEMA partners up in Jackson. We're telling them, look, you need to do a very in-depth and full-throated support of the city's position. Because everybody, as we said, is going to be completed except for y'all. And we had pointed out down to FEMA, and their position is, these are their exact words, number 2 man in Washington, D.C. from the mayor, the city attorney. If we did this for you, we would have to do it for everybody. And we said, that's your problem to figure out. We are correct in our regulations that you violated not accounting for inflation. So it's a fight against the federal agency. We have spent a lot of time and money correctly to fight what is true and correct. This is not you overspent your money, it is, or your budget it is, people you never properly estimated in the first place according to your own regulations and policies. And their position is, we're the federal government, what are you gonna do? Ma'am, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with you. I'm just saying all this was completed before me. Osprey was underway. We had to get the deep sewer completed. And unfortunately, this area sewer has to tie into these other projects. All these other projects had to be completed prior to yours. You gotta get the deep sewer in first. And
my concern is you're building a building here. You gotta take care of the sewage for that new building. And I think about the old oak tree there. I think about the street that I have been waiting, and everybody in East Biloxi have been waiting for these streets that need to be paved, that need to be redone.
Yes, sir. That's private development, and there's no one there. Well, trust me, I have made myself very well known to a lot of politicians in Jackson, in Washington D.C., and amongst the MENA and FEMA agencies. They don't like me because I'm in their face all the time pointing out their own regulations. I said, look, you wrote it in a letter in 2019 on your FEMA letterhead saying you agree, but there's another person in there now. And they're saying, well, we don't agree. And that's why we engage the governor's office, we go to DC, we engage the politicians. They're all pushing, they all agree, except for one agency that needs to agree, which is FEMA. No one's pushing harder than this further than me. Nobody's pushing harder than me to get that funding for you, I promise you that.
Well, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having us tonight. My name is Jerry Gray. I'm the Regular Community Development Director for the city, and we do a number of things in our department. Typically, people tend to think of our department as just a zoning department or a code enforcement department, because that's mainly what you see. But we do a lot of other things you may not be aware of, and I'm going to run through them just real quick. We do economic development in our department. We do planning and zoning in our department. Floodplain management, the community rating system, historic preservation, contractor and business licensing, building permits and inspections, stormwater management, code enforcement, museums and cultural affairs. And museums and cultural affairs involves Old Brick House, the Lighthouse, and the Visitor Center, and tree preservation. We're also the department that conducts all the public hearings for historic preservation and planning and zoning. So a lot of moving parts in our department right now. But as far as economic development goes, in Ward 2, and Mr. Marshall, I apologize, somebody's not reporting around Ward 2, but they're close enough to it. Okay. We have a new cyber training center, a cyber technology training center that's going to be built at the new corner of where White Avenue runs into CT Switzer. We are currently working on a new overlay district plan for, I said CT Switzer, I meant Judge Seahill. We're currently working on a new overlay district that's we think will open up some new economic development for Judge Seahill that will lead up to this new cyber technology building that we're building. You probably noticed that they started construction on a new hotel right down the road here on Belvin, next to the Waffle House. That's going to have 106 rooms in it. The old Margaritaville, that's Ward 1, I won't get into that. The Bard Building downtown, the Sacred Theater downtown, the IP parking lot, the Phillips Boutique Hotel, which is in the Phillips building going in. We also have some residential happening. Golden Gulf Estates, this is off of Porter Avenue, and they got approval for 15 new single-family lots there. So we're working with Mr. Jonathan Breen, that most of you may be familiar with, about some new housing developments on Holly Street. We just opened a new restaurant in downtown called Rippin' Hot Chicken, and if you haven't been there, it's really good. It's worth going in there to eat. Also a new ice cream shop in downtown, and a new medical facility, physical medical facility in downtown. Now, I've got a whole list of projects here that I could go into, but why is this important? Because economic development projects generate revenue, and that's what our department does a lot of, is to generate revenues. And cities run off of revenues, whether it's property revenues or sales tax revenues or gaming revenues. That's what creates the improvements for the whole city. So we have to constantly be working to make these projects move forward. Sometimes these projects are very good projects, they contribute. You know, the question might be, well, how does that help me as a private property owner, you know, that they're building a hotel down here? Hotels generate a lot of revenues that help the city operate. Some other things that we're doing is our department
is rated based on its flood enforcement efforts, and we're tied for the best rating in the state. We're a 6 right now, and what that means is that anyone who has flood insurance should be getting a 20% discount on your flood insurance policy. Because of that, there should be a statement on your policy that says you're getting that discount based on the city's grade in the flood insurance program. We also have a building department rating of 4, which is one of the best in the state. And because of that, anyone who builds something new, a new house, should be getting a discount on that house on their building insurance premiums as well. We are constantly looking for development projects to come in. We've been in talks with a grocery store about coming to Ward 2. I've had a couple of really good discussions with the home agency for this company. They've asked us to send them some maps with some possible locations. Once we've talked about location, they would schedule a meeting and come and meet with us here. I can tell you that your councilman made it very clear that he wants a grocery store in Ward 2, and that's what we're working on. Another good thing is that we have a mayor and a council that are open to helping with incentives to bring these people here. So a lot of things that we're doing in the community development department to help Ward 2 and help all the wards, and I think that's pretty much it. From a code enforcement standpoint, let me just mention this. From time to time, we'll get a complaint about a code enforcement property. I don't know if you've noticed the agendas for the past several council meetings, but we've had a whole list of code enforcement properties that we've got cleaned up. We have 4 code enforcement officers for the city of Biloxi. Each one is assigned a different area, and their responsibility is that they're supposed to drive their area at least once every 2 weeks. And this time of year, I can tell you that we're consumed with overgrown lots. But as the grass stops growing and we get into that dormant period, then we go out and we focus on dilapidated structures, junk vehicles in people's yards, appliances, and any other thing, trash and litter, those kind of things. So you'll be seeing our focus change to start handling those things. Let me see. We partner or we contribute to back mitigation. I saw James Kennington back there a little while ago. Every year the city gives them money to help us with what we call hardship cases. And those are properties where people need certain repairs to their homes, but they may not have the money. Now, they have certain criteria you have to meet, and one of the first criteria is it has to be an owner-occupied home. It can't be rental property or something else. The owner has to own the property and occupy the property in order for it to qualify. And then there's some net income levels that they have to meet. But they've helped us out countless times by removing trees off the property or replacing a roof or something like that to help us out. Mr. Marshall, I think that's about Ward 2, but I'll be happy to stay.
The next one is the easiest one I really going to be able to work with is the fire department.
Good evening. I'm Nick Geyser. Like I was saying, I'm Nick Geyser, Director of Fire. Like Councilman Marshall was saying, I'm the easy one or the boring one. I don't do projects in the city. I don't talk on any of that. Essentially, I just want to remind everybody that we still have our grant-funded smoke detector program that we'll do for any resident in the city of Biloxi. Doesn't matter what ward, anything along those lines. You call our main office line 435-6200. Ask for fire prevention. You give them the size of your home, bedrooms. They'll confirm that you own the home. You can't be a renter, or if you are a renter, ask your landlord or the owner of the home to call us. But we come out, we do the install ourselves. Just have y'all sign a waiver, just say if we break a lamp or something, y'all aren't gonna hold us to it. So, again, they come bring your drills, everything. It's a proven thing. Smoke detectors save lives. If you don't know anybody that is blind, deaf, they also have some of those that will actually alert the bed rumblers, that sort of thing. So please, you know, it's an integral part of fire safety at a house. Other than that, hope y'all are experiencing a lot better service from our new EMS provider, Pathford Emergency Services. They are our new, they've been around for about a year and a half. You know, hopefully nobody experienced it prior to, but when we had a previous company, we had a significant amount of delayed calls where we may arrive, the fire department may arrive, but we were not able to transport anybody to a medical facility. So, you know, we went through the long, arduous process of getting a provider that would provide the services that we need and get people to where they need to be. And we seem to have found that. If y'all experience any issues, please give my office a call. And I'm talking about with EMS as a private service, but we stay in close contact, making sure they're performing how they need to be. So any issues, please let us know. We correct them almost on the spot. And they're a Mississippi-based company, so I can talk to the owner of the company within 2-3 minutes, and it gets solved pretty quick. Other than that, things seem to be going well. Hopefully y'all are experiencing some good service for my guys. Of course, constantly looking for new ones. So if y'all have any young men and women, send them our way, or at least send them to HR and fill out an application. So, all right, well, I appreciate it.
Welcome, everybody. I appreciate Mr. Marshall for having us tonight. And my name is Chris Deback. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Police Department, of course. I'll start with some numbers first. Kind of put it in a little perspective, our officers answer about 2,500 to 2,800 calls a week, calls for service a week throughout the city. For Ward 2, we look at the 1st of June through the end of August, we responded to about 3,811 calls for service. Kind of a little bit of perspective from our weekly to a 3-month. That's a wide range of calls, as you can imagine, whether it's a theft or disorderly conduct to several other things. One of the things I wanted to highlight was there was 1,113 extra patrols. So what an extra patrol is we're going out, we're looking at different things. Maybe you called us that said, hey, can you look at this area? Whatever it is. You know, two specific areas, for instance, Beck Park. The park, your parks, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. they're open. Of course, Miguez Park has a sports park. It can be extended to 11 as long as there's a event or something going on there. The splash pad, the only difference in hours is at Beck Park is it's open from 9 to 8, 9 in the morning to 8 in the evening. But talking about Beck Park, like Mr. James said, we're working with Parks and Rec as well as Public Works, identifying things, you know, to be cleaned up. Our officers been making extra patrols at night after hours. For instance, a couple of nights ago, there was an individual sleeping in there that ended up having narcotics in their pocket. Was an unsheltered individual. That person was taken into custody, but those are the kinds of things we're trying to deter. Our main goal is to make sure that your parks are for your families, for you to enjoy. Under the 110, kind of the same thing. Making sure that people aren't littering, throwing trash down, keeping it clean, so we can all enjoy that as a community. We've been working with places like Back Bay. We're going to continue to work with those places, continue to do these extra patrols for as far as the unsheltered people and any other kind of problem. If you have a problem that I'm not talking about, please call us and we'll certainly look at that, create extra patrol, whatever we have to do. As far as the department goes, we're sitting at about 128 officers right now, today. We've got 4 that are in field training, meaning they've been to the academy, they're out with another senior officer learning how to do the job and everything else. We got 6 that are starting the academy on
have 2 starting on Wednesday. That'll fill us out for the first time in a long time. But we do have a lot of dispatchers still in training as well. We have 1 opening, if anybody's interested, it's in our real-time crime center. So you're watching TV showing at all the TVs up on the wall and watching cameras throughout. What that helps is responding officers, or a crime does occur, sometimes helps us identify a suspect or person we look at. But we do have a spot that's available there. It's on the city website. We're going to continue moving forward, with our immediate and our long-term strategic plans as far as growth, what we can do for the community. We're all in this together. We're all part of the community. We all help each other out. And we've been, the whole time I've been here, we've been blessed to have the best community with the support of the community, and we really appreciate that. Some of the projects we're working on, so of course DARE just kicked off in the schools. It's a great program. Some of your kids or grandkids may be in it. Hopefully they're sharing information when they come home. We're currently in the middle of our annual Citizens Academy. It's about 8 weeks long, and that's 2 days a week. If it's something you're interested in, it's around the midsummer is when it starts each year. We have about 14 people in class this year, but you get to learn about, pretty much everything we do, and some why we do it, and the tools we have at our disposal. And once you graduate, we have a VIP program, or if you want to volunteer and continue supporting not only us, but the whole community, you're more than welcome to. Our community relations is also working, reaching out to a variety of programs to create either new initiatives throughout the city, whether it's kids programs or police athletic leagues, things like that. Trying to identify new things that we can start up to be even more of a better partner with you. So if you have any ideas, please give us a call. We'd certainly like to explore those. On Saturday, at Point Cadet between 11 and 2, we'll be having our annual Festival Against Crime. Everybody's invited to come out. We're going to have about over 30 vendors out there. We're going to have free food, drink. We're going to have music, some games, displays. We'll have some of our teams out there explaining things, answering questions. We welcome everybody to come out and enjoy the day with us. We, on multiple occasions, we received traffic complaints, things of that nature, whether it's stop signs or no parking signs or whatever. Usually monthly, the way we do it, once we get these, we look at the area, we look at the intersection, we look at whatever is requested. And through the traffic committee, which is engineering, us, public works, Jerry and his people, community development, we look at what's being requested, what the possibility of putting that sign in or changing the speed limit, whatever it is, and come to a consensus. Once we agree on it, then we go ahead and change out the signs or put in the stop, whatever it is. And sometimes there's traffic studies we have to do. But this next Tuesday, we have a pretty good agenda, but there's several in Ward 2 that we're going to be discussing, talking about some stop signs, some no parking, and the ones that I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm pretty sure, I can tell you that the police department, we lean towards either putting a sign or no parking, because the street just can't accommodate the amount of traffic or parking, whatever it is. That's about all I have right now. If you have any questions, I'll be here.
I'm Rick Waker, I'm the Chief Administrative Officer, and I started in June. So I got about 20 days on Councilman Marshall from here. A couple things I would like to talk about first is Biloxi does have the best police and fire rating in there. As Jerry said, you take a look at your housing, your flow, and then you also have amazing parks. You get the cheapest water rate, and I know some people are gonna be like, well, water rate, I got it. But it is the lowest water rate around this area from there. And we've been able to keep that down, exactly the same reason we've been able to do the other stuff. So as we go through there, a few things I do want to talk about though, is the things that me and Councilman Marshall discuss all the time, is the road on the side of the roads. We are in a contract with the county for Harrison County Utility Authority. They pick the trash up once a week. The problem we run into is a lot of the vacant lots where people will dump stuff or people will move stuff to either keep it out in front of their house or if someone brings stuff over. Harrison County Utility Authority will not pick up anything that is in a vacant lot. It has to be in a residential lot where a house is, or they will not pick it up. So what we do is if they don't pick it up, then Mr. Marshall or my team will go out and they'll pick the truck up. The city of Biloxi actually owns 2 of those trucks, but it's a lot easier for us because we have to pull someone off another crew to be able to put those on the trucks because we're already paying for that service through Harrison County Utility Authority. So what I would ask you, if you see your neighbors or if you need to put something out, please just put it in front of the house. Is Friday trash day here? All right, so Friday they should be picking that up. If they don't pick it up, let me know Monday, and then we'll try to get one of our public works trucks out there to pick it up for you. But let's give that opportunity, but let's make certain that it's in front of there. And if it is in front of your house, then let me know, because I go to the Harrison County Utility Authority meetings, and then I'll bring those up. Y'all remember before, when you had waste management and all the trash and fall out of the trucks? And I brought that up the first meeting I was there, because I hate that. They come through there and everybody picks up or tries to keep the house clean, and then they dump it, they roll down the road, trash flies out. So I said, no problem. What we're gonna do in the city of Biloxi, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start looking for that. The waste management guy said, well, let me know what truck it is. I said, don't worry about it. We're gonna write the truck number on the ticket for littering when we stop them. And they got helped up, they were cheap. So, but those are things that we can do, and this takes a little extra step that we are improving. I'll tell you, the mayor and the council have went in on the littering program. How many of y'all heard about the citywide littering program, just picking up and cleaning up? And it has worked out tremendously for us, but we still got a long way to go. So from that, as we go through, pick it up. We're going to start working to try to get more trash cans out. I've worked with Jamie a lot on putting additional trash cans out. And, you know, talking about Jamie, how many of y'all knew that we had 50 parks and rec buildings in the city? 10 of them are in Ward 2. There's 50 park and rec facilities in the city. 10 of them are in Ward 2. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Hanging around Mr. Marshall enough, I come prepared. We got the Biloxi Civic Center and Library. Cadet Street, Community Development, Dorsey Bush Park, the I-110 Market and Park area, John Henry Beck Park, Mercy Cross, Renor Street, St. Mary's Park, and Todd Medias Park. Thought I was lying. Gotcha. But we do have a lot of parks, and we're trying our best. If y'all have been around John Beck Park lately, we have really put an emphasis on that park. We really have. Me and Mr. Marshall were both upset the other day. Because if y'all have not been by there in the last day or two, somebody has went in on the front and back of the facility and tore the wood structure up. So currently now it is damaged to where Jamie and them had to shut it down. The wood structure. So we've got some tape and all of those. So we're going to try to do our best to get it done. But we have really put an effort into that. You know, we went in, we've got Camp DP fence is waiting to redo all of the fencing. So it's back to where it needs to be. We put an effort into making certain that we're cleaning everything up. Todd Medias Park, they're doing a lot of significant Holloway to make sure that Todd Niguez Park looks as good as AJ Holloway Park.
That's right.
Say what?
That's right.
Yeah. So,
All of them need to look good.
well, and we're trying. We're doing our best on there. What I ask of you is we need communities to help us as well. And that's it. And I understand it's not the people that live around the park that's tearing them up. But what I do need is for your assistance to let me know when they're out there and they don't need to be there. That's whenever you can call GP back. Let's get somebody out there to take a look at it. If you see somebody that's out there after hours, don't call and let us know. And that's all you gotta do is just call and let us know so that we can go out and let's try to get this park back. Because what I want to see is all the children playing in the park. Yes.
These charges.
These what?
These fees.
What fees?
From what I was saying, I live with a perfect example. Like, we had something in the park. So they wanted to charge us to be there. So I know another guy is having an event this November. He's getting charged like $400. Where are these charges coming from?
The problem when we have parks, and I'll let you know, me and Marshall talked about this. Well, let me finish, or let me start. Remember, we have employees that we have to pay. That's why they get paid by what?
For my tax money.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
That's what I'm talking
I mean, there's no sense in me having a conversation if you're not even listening. So if you want me to listen, if you want me to explain, I will. If not, I'll sit down. Okay.
Everybody's ready to go and everything. Before I give my remarks, I want to ask that the Clark Center come up. I hope we're listening. I think it was somebody I can call. We're going to be giving the Clark Center two things. We say it's for fair together. All you comments, let me speak. We don't have economic plan that's being enforced that shows the result for East Biloxi. That's obvious. Sitting here, yelling at them, talking to them, I think I'm gonna do that good enough for everybody. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you down. What I need to do is get you to organize this thing. Organize outside of this room to get together and form committees to address each of these issues. We don't have an East Biloxi Recreation Center. Let me tell you why. The city of Biloxi in 2018 floated a bond. Of that bond, $500,000 went for the building, those were going to build for East Biloxi. It was very sad. We lost two gyms. Two. Okay. We was going to get one to replace it. That's what was promised to us. We got pictures in the newspapers. We got people shoveling the dirt, saying it's going to be built. You come to me, you show me the pictures. Some of you was standing out there with the shovels in your hand. You want to know where it is. Okay. So that $5,000. $75,000 was transferred over to Bush Park, $25,000 over to O'Reilly for repairs. Then you finish. There's a park called Businessman's Park. That's the park over by between Benaki and Porter, the little circle. We put $75,000 over there. Of the $500,000, this is the money that was set aside for your rec center. It's been poured out. $10,000 for the Henry Bedford Parish there. And the list goes down. It boils down to the biggest fee was $219,000 and $219,798 went for the plans, the engineering plan that show how the building's gonna sit on the property. It shows you how the building's gonna look. It called the restrooms, the easements, everything, the drainage, all that is planned. The project is what they call shovel ready. It is ready to go. However, at this moment, there's only $48.
And $75 except for Bush Park.
$128,000 went to fix the railroad track. So that, I guess, another bus will cross the railroad track and be hit, which I think should have been CXX's problem, because all my life I've been told that railroad track belongs to who? Until it's time to fix it again. They took it from your gym to fix the railroad track. I can't work with $48.25. There's no way for me to fix that with $48.25. I'm gonna have to start from scratch. So don't expect an overnight miracle. Yes, I'm gonna work on it, I'm gonna push it. But I'm not gonna go out there and show dirt, pretend like I got the money to do something when I don't have the money to do something. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm gonna be going to the court to get my picture in the paper. I'm not interested in that. The next thing on that is, in order to service our children, they need some place to go. The agreement with the Kroc Center is that they're going to have scholarships for those in the 39530 area, which is Ward 2. So our children, because we don't have the millions of dollars to build a center, they still got to go somewhere. So we have an agreement with the Kroc Center to offer scholarships to the children. We're going to work with that until we can do better. And I'm going to let the Kroc Center tell you about the scholarship.
Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Every. I am the director of the Salvation Army Kroc Center. So Marshall has invited me here today to speak on the funds that we receive from the city. I'll let you know what they go towards. They go towards our Scholarship Assistance Fund. So you can request assistance with membership, summer camp, after school care, music lessons, swim lessons, pretty much any program we have going on at the Kroc Center, you can apply for assistance with that. For the people of this community, the children of 13 to 17 years old, this is something that has been going on this part. They get to come in for free at the Kroc Center to get them off the street. This was something that was asked of us a couple of years ago, and we do honor that. We ask that the parents come down, sign up their children. We do have discipline policy for them to follow. We renew it every 3 months if they stay on good standing and they keep coming in the Kroc Center. Yes, ma'am. We don't just do it with the funds that the city gives us. We have an annual fundraiser in March, and those funds go to the Scholarship Assistance Program as well. Our biggest request is summer camp. This past summer, we had 40 children on the scholarship program. Right now in our after-school care program, we have 35 children in that program. 20 of them are on scholarship assistance. So if you've never been to the Kroc Center, you better come to the Kroc Center. Come see me, let me give you a tour, and show you what it's all about. It is a wonderful center. A new program we're trying to bring to the center is fencing. Woo! Right. Well, thank you for having me. That's all I have. Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Yes, they can come in for free. Their parent guardian needs to come down and sign them up for it. We have a form. It's a one-page, just address where you go go to school, what grade you're in, and then sign off on the discipline form that you will abide by policy and orders.
Gotta get them off the street.
Thank you.
I'm going to be upfront and tell you, this is not a solution. This is just a workaround until we get to where we need to get. My priority is to get the kids off the streets. I can sit here and leave them on the streets while I fight with them for $1 million or $2 million, $3 million, and our kids are going to be suffering, or work with them to provide them the service until we can do better. When I grew up, my mother always taught me, do what you gotta do until you can do better. One of the things that I did notice that in comparing to about the rec center, to clear this out real quick, we actually do not at this point own the land. I'm going to get with the CAO and the city attorney to make sure that we actually get to own the land, that way we know that it's dedicated for the project. We're going to start, when I say we're starting over from the beginning, we're literally starting this project over from the beginning, okay? Now, I think I got everybody out the way. So let Marshall be Marshall. No, ma'am, you don't wait. If you know the list of projects that we talked about, talked around us. The list of projects that we talked about had very little to do with our economic well-being. When you speak about Ward 2, we want you to speak about Ward 2. We want to hear about what's going to have to give in Ward 2. When you come to Ward 2 meeting, we're talking Ward 2. A lot of the projects I heard here about things that are just not us. I fight for Ward 2. I fight for East Biloxi, but I fight for Ward 2. If you have a problem in Ward 2, call me. I don't expect you to get many answers here. I don't expect you to get far here. But what I'm going to do is tell you the solution to fixing our problem is not with anybody sitting at this table. They're hired to do a job. They're going to set up in their guidelines and their boundaries, and as you can probably tell, we kind of get left out of that. In order to fix the real problem, we can have a question and answer period until it's 12 o'clock midnight. We have to organize. There's nothing, each of you sitting out here know this. We have never gotten anything given to us without a fight. We have never gotten anything without organizing and coming at them with facts, truth, and letting them know we're not going to back down and we're going to let the mess get out until you do right by Ward 2. Nothing you do in this city will work. You have to come back to Ward 2. Many people sitting at this table in front of you right now, including the mayor who told me very clearly, he was born on Main Street. My response is, you should leave Main Street the way you found it. It didn't look like that when you got on this earth. When you leave this earth, it should not look like this. So we're going to have to fight this by organizing. Each of you have a card. That card gives you the time to give me a way to reach you, talk to you, and volunteer. If you're not willing to speak up and sign that card, get on a committee. There's several committees that's on that card, there will be other committees. Then we're wasting time. You have to get involved. You have to sign that card. I have to go out there at this point and knock on doors to get people to come to the meetings. I don't want to keep doing it. That's a waste of my time. I love you and I appreciate you. But you have a cell phone. Marshall, you got Marshall's cell phone number. Marshall should have your cell phone number. I should be able to text you and tell you about this meeting. I should be able to text you and tell you there's a thing coming on the agenda. It's about your street. You need to come. I know I shouldn't have to go to every house on your street to knock on your door. I should be able to text you and your neighbors and tell you, come to the meeting. They're talking about you. If they're talking about doing something in your school, I should be able to text you, send you an email, tell you, come here today, this time. You're talking about your school. You're talking about your center. You're talking about doing something to you that's going to hurt you. Come here and see this. Right now, I don't have that. You need to give me that. I'll give you my number. You got my website. You got my email. I need to reach you with a push of a button. And I need to respond when you get that push. Am I asking too much? Okay? Fill the cards out. If you don't want to be on the committee, but you do know I need your number, I need your email address, put that on there. You can, because of handicap reason, you can be on the committee, at least let me know how I can reach you. If you know your neighbor, fill out one for your neighbor. Neighbor not here, fill out one for that neighbor. Say, she couldn't get here, but this is so number. She will need to know also. I need to be able to reach you. I'm going to open it up for questions and answers, but we're going to give you just for a little bit of time. My goal is for each of these departments to come and talk to us one by one, and we're going to have what's called breakout sessions, and we can deal with them one-on-one. But we first have to organize, so we can be on one accord and where we stand. Okay? Put this in charge of the questions. Limit your questions. We are limited on time.
If you have questions, yes, Pastor.
Councilman, and to this platform, I was a part of the breaking ground for that community center. I was a part of that, but it never materialized. I understand that the funds have depreciated. My question to you, Mr. Marshall, in the upcoming year, the year 2026, will there be some efforts, or will there be some discussion on the possible of the continuation of the erection and the building and construction of that East Biloxi Ward 2 Community Center? That's my question. I was a part of that.
The answer is yes, we're going to be looking at that. And we're going to have to start exactly like Mr. Marshall said. Let's take a look at the land first. Let's look at the design. Does that still fit what you're looking for in this community?
But the question, I think my concern is that it was the old Lee Street Stadium ground. Is that going to be still future area, or does that be planned for a new site? Y'all remember that?
We spent $218,000 for a building. We know exactly to a square inch where that building's going to sit. We're not moving. We're going to give us what we asked for. You go with what was promised to us. You don't promise me nothing, you're not going to do it. So that's where I stand. I'm going to fight for it. If I can't do it overnight, I ain't going to afford $10 work.
Thank you. Now, my second question is to the Parks and Recreation Director, Mr. Jamie Lee, just for the benefit of these citizens and constituents. Now, you made mention about the fee. Now, some of them possibly would have desire to have activities or functions on East Biloxi or which park. I think they might need to know what would be some of those fees so they can be prepared. Like Brother Fairley, I was surprised when we had to pay such a large fee. I mean, I was just not talking about fee, but I think someone did make mention about a fee. But they need to know when they come down to use those places, the facility, how much space that's going to cost you. Thank you.
Recently, the council voted on an ordinance that listed all the current fees for any rentable facility that we do have in the city, in the department, including the ones that you're talking about, Beck Park, Bush Park, Pillow Park Pavilion, just any of those areas. The thing that we ask you to do is to come to our office in Hill Park if you are interested in renting any of those rentable facilities. We can sit down, we can go over with you. I don't have the fee structure. I couldn't tell you what the exact fee for you to come and rent Bush Park right here, right now would be. But we do have that information available at the office and would be more than happy with anybody sitting down. And it goes back to, yes, we do have these facilities available. It does take manpower to keep these facilities up. It does take manpower to run them. It takes manpower to keep them clean. It takes manpower to fix them. You know, we're looking at where are we gonna get some revenue, where are we gonna get the manpower to fix the vandalism that just happened at that park with the building there. So those are different things that we're fighting every day, that we're looking at trying to overcome those obstacles. Yes, sir.
Someone have their hand over for you.
I'm still waiting for the garbage can, Mr. Weaver, on caveat.
Yes, ma'am, and, put out today.
Between the Michigan and Bayview.
Between where?
Between the Michigan and Bayview.
Between the Mission and Bayview? Division and Bayview.
I'm sorry. No, I reached it.
This is the guy that I turned that over to.
Right. No, there were, I believe, 4 additional cans put out there today. Today, yes ma'am. Our superintendent said that he got them ready and got them out today. Now, is that an end game? No ma'am. We're gonna continue to progress on that, look at where our areas are, look at where we may need some additional cans, but we are, and look, you know, we're looking at temporary fixes right now, not permanent solutions. We're just trying to get this going to where we can get a better container, a more aesthetically pleasing fixture there that, you know, may not be an eyesore. But right now we are, so if it may be a barrel or something just kind of secured to a post or something, just bear with us. You know, it is something that we can utilize to take care of trash, but it may not be a permanent fixture. We're looking at different options, things that we might be able to build in-house to save money that would be aesthetically pleasing for the same use. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I want to tell you, ma'am, I appreciate you bringing that up, and I told you we were gonna work on it. Obviously, I mean, nothing moves fast, unfortunately, but we do get those done. Thank you for bringing that up.
Got a question on the floor.
Do you have a question?
Yes, yeah.
Mr.
The
Mike.
mic.
Use the mic, please.
Yes. Sir, on behalf of the churches in Warrenton, I'm asking you to consider making an exception to Georgia. These churches go out there and we do outreach ministry. The outreach ministry have been going on, we play a vital role in the community. And I don't feel like it's right if we come together and just simply do outreach ministry. So I'm asking you all if you could take into consideration and not charge the church for using that John Rick. Please take it into consideration.
And I will tell you, that's gonna go to Mr. Marshall and along with his other 6 constituents and the mayor. Once they write the ordinance, that's where my guidance comes from. I work for them. So once they post that, now what we can do from those is there also is a waiver of those. So we know that's coming up, and I think we've done that, Councilman Marshall, before, where we've worked that and you utilized that. So I think we've done that before, but all of that's gonna have to be pushed through your council person and then be able to be voted on by the entire council, because the ordinance are there, they've already passed those ordinance, so as an employee of the city, along with the rest of the employees here, we're bound to that. But what I asked you to do is to be able to get with your council person, to be able to try to change whatever you need to change from there, or have a workaround between that. So the problem we run into, that I was saying earlier, is especially at nighttime, when we have to pay overtime. We have to be able to pay that somehow. But if there's other ways around this, then we're very open to that as well too. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Frew? Mr. Frew?
Real quick, I'm sorry,
And the biggest thing that if you are interested in utilizing one of these facilities is get with us as soon as possible. Please don't wait till like 4 or 5 days before. You know, come to see us as soon as you know your date. That way we can get this process rolling as well. You know, because if you wait till the last minute, it really does put us into a time constraint that of something that we might be able to help you with. So please, as soon as you know your dates, come and see us at the Parks and Rec Department at the Hill Park Armory Building, and we can see what we can work out and go forward with, okay?
So if we do outreach, like every third Saturday, for 1 hour, the same time.
Then we need to get on that now and start planning for the third Saturday in October and going forward.
But then we have to come and get a permit.
We can look and see, once you come in with your list of dates, on what we can do with a schedule going forward.
I'd just like to add to that, just to give you an example. So under the 110, there was a similar program, outreach. And what we did was we worked out the third, Sunday of the month, whatever day it was. And we went out for, every 6 months we would do it. Made sure that the space was available. We got it approved for them to use it through the city. And then they had it that time. So it's possible, it's kind of like a contract that we've done in the past. And all the parameters are there to say, we're going to use this. The only difference is if you have microphones, things of this, it's the noise ordinance, so that it falls under. And what we do is we do a special permit for those dates so that you can have amplified sound.
Mr. Krill? Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for coming out. My name is John Kemp. I'm third generation of Biloxi. My home lives in Ward 2, but I live in the city of Biloxi. And as I drive through these 7 wards, I see the progress that your department is making. So when you thank the people out there on those calling manual weed eaters, the area looks good. Thank you for Bush Park. My family bought that house 50 years ago, and that park actually belonged to the residents of St. Paul subdivision. It was subsequently given to the city because we all grew up and went away. In that subdivision, in the St. Paul subdivision, it is the same asphalt that's on Randolph, that's on Reed, that's on Hannibal Court. I skateboarded on the same potholes in 1980. So my question to you is, sir, we want to know in the St. Paul subdivision, the city's first successful urban renewal project, the St. Paul subdivision. My mom was 26 when she built it out of the projects. Can you show me and those residents that you will repave that subdivision for the first time in 45, 50 years? So it's a safety issue. And what those residents have been told is that they're in line with this infrastructure project. They've been told that they're next for the last 5 years. So when you repave that and dig up that old sewer line that runs from Nixon Street through its property, the subdivision is on top of that sewer line, and there are sinkholes as we speak. One of them is in the back of my yard. I did what I'm supposed to do. This is not just a meeting. I called, I went in person, I made the complaint to Mr. Cross. He knows me. The workers know me. I'm the baby of the bunch. I have 70, 80-year-old residents that are unsafe walking on those streets. Can you please let them know when you're going to redo that subdivision for the first time in 45 years?
So that actually falls under my department, the paving of the streets. So I'm not sure if that's inside of the infrastructure area or not. But I will tell you right now, there's no paving money. I'm going to assume that this is outside of the infrastructure for a moment. There's no paving money available. We're waiting for our next round of what we call internet use tax money from the state. We allocate a small amount of that to the paving every year. We have done a citywide paving study, and we try to use that. It tells the condition of every street in the city of Biloxi. And so we try to use that and address the worst streets first, is how we try to do it.
We know there's a lot of streets out there that need paving. They need it desperately. And we
when it's gonna happen, I really can't tell you because I don't have any funding for paving at this time.
That's fair, but it's not my street. It's your street. The city of Biloxi is literally, the city of Biloxi is literally on that same street. So please, it's a safety issue. I mean, it's not about how it looks.
No, I agree completely. I do.
And just to answer this question from my neighbors. So what this department told those neighbors about being in line as far as the infrastructure projects, they were never on the list. Is that what you're saying?
No. This is outside of the infrastructure work that's being done.
That's what I'm saying. So they were never on the infrastructure list.
I'll have to look, I'll have to ask Walt if they're on the FEMA infrastructure list. I don't know those streets off the top of my head. But those, if they're inside of those infrastructure areas in that ward, those are areas we have not been paving because it's always been, eventually, the infrastructure is gonna get to it. The FEMA infrastructure projects are gonna get to it. So that's why a lot of those streets haven't been paved. Now, if it's gonna, Walt talked about his funding as well. We can go back and look and see, do we need to go ahead and pave that while we're waiting for that funding to come available? If we're waiting for him to work out those issues. Those are things that we can talk to administration about and see if we can't get done whenever we do get some paving funding available.
Yes, the lady in the pink.
I'm gonna try to say too much, but we keep harping on this gym that everybody wants at the end of Lee Street that there was money for. Is there a problem with the Croc Center besides y'all? I mean, I'm not understanding. We don't have the youth in Ward 2 that we had before Katrina. We had things that were demolished in Katrina and people moved. So if we spent this money for this new center, what is that center gonna do that the Croc Center is not doing for our youth now? Because, do what?
It's free. It's free.
What in life is free?
Scholarship.
Somebody will have to pay for the citizen,
Love is free. That's what's free.
That's
Love.
exactly right.
Love is free.
I'm not gonna argue.
It's not about an argument, baby.
Okay, you just said that there's grants. If you can't afford the gym, there's swimming, there's Zumba, there's weightlifting, there's basketball.
And it's limited. It's limited.
But what are you gonna
It's
get
limited.
that you're not getting now? No, Selena, the city provided those gyms.
That's like they're gonna provide the recreation center.
There's no children in this neighborhood.
Okay, I don't know who to answer that, so answer it now, moving on.
May I have your attention? May I have your attention? Ma'am, go ahead. Right here.
You contact our department, we come out and look at it. Now, in order for the city to remove it, we can't remove it off of private property unless it poses an immediate threat to like one of our utilities or something. If you'll get with me after we get through, I'll get your address and I'll have somebody out there to look at it. Yes, ma'am. I just need your address. Get with me after we get through and I'll get your address.
Okay, may I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Everybody who came here took time out of their schedule. Let them participate in the meeting. Do I have a side meeting? Everybody.
Yes, I just want to rebuttal to that question where the lady said there's no youth in Ward 2. I'm the youth minister at New Bethel Ministerial Baptist Church. I pick up kids every Sunday. from this community. So there are kids in this community. Go right through Oak 6, go right through Oakwood Village. Those children outside playing with nothing. So there are children in the neighborhood. I promise you, I can attest to that because I deal with them. I minister to those children. I try to teach those children keys. So there are children in this area that need somewhere to go. So you know they're here. They're children. I promise you. But these parents cannot afford the Croc Center.
Mary Jean, Sierra, we're gonna get your number. He's gonna work on that key for you tomorrow. I want to keep going around. I need to work on results. Sir? Anthony.
It seems like there's one of the things we sort of chicken. It seems like it should be better.
Right, and I can tell you the last two incidents that occurred here in Ward 2, it was because we received a call, whether it was from a business, neighbor in the community or whatever. So we had to go down. A lot of times it was because there was either a no parking sign there or the car was parked on the sidewalk itself. But it's because we received a phone call in reference to the parking on that street. The parts that the incidents that come to mind for me were also narrow streets, which would require that no parking on one side, both sides, or whatever. But it had nothing to do with officer riding around just looking to put parking tickets on the car.
But in that same spot, still probably now on everything. So we need what's right there. Catholic Church right there. And then they use the cars on the sidewalk. It's from the church. I think that's what I'm saying. We need to take it right there. We can just run there and walk on the sidewalk. That's the ticket I got in the ring. You know, I feel like getting about other people on the sidewalk.
Right. Those incidents, like I said, because we were specifically called out there to look at them that day or around that time frame. Did you say something about speeders? Okay, I apologize, misheard you. But that's why we were out there. We talked to Mr. Marshall about one of the incidents, worked with a few individuals, and days after that. I'm sorry. Just get with me after this meeting, we'll talk about it.
I believe what they're saying, sir. I believe what they're saying is that it would be nice just to get one. And to be honest with you, speaking for the people, if they're in church, and your officers come in, you get a complaint about parking, and the people that's parking are in church, out of respect, go to the usher. If you go in church, inside that door, there's an usher. Explain to the usher there's a parking problem. The usher will, in decency and in order, in God's house, will let the people know. Please stop praying for your officers. Because they're in there praying for you. And go move your car before the people that you're praying for give you a ticket. That's all they ask. So, courtesy and respect goes a lot further than that ticket will ever go. Any more questions?
I just have one question. Over on this side, why light bill is so high. My light bill is $400. I'm trying to figure out why we the only one on this area. Light bill that's $400. I'm still behind it in all the other areas.
We have, there's no one on this town, just a high light bill. Going up, I got a couple of whoopers and the light bill was high. That's good. I agree with my dad. Any more questions? All right. As I said before, if you're not willing to put your name on your card, I can text you, email you to let you know what's going on. Then you're just coming here just for money. I need to be able to reach you. I need to let you know that if an incident is going on in our community, I got to be able to reach you about getting up, knocking on your door. This is 2025. This is technology. I should be able to reach everybody the same way instantly. Give me the information. You got mine. Make sure I got yours. I promise you, any problem you got, I'll get it fixed. Our next meeting will be a smaller meeting. Look for the signs, look for the text, look for the email with a specific department. We're going to call them workshops, breakout sessions to deal with each department one by one. This will continue until we have enough answers to solve all of our problems, but we got to communicate and I need your information. Please make sure I get your information. Anything else? I want to thank everybody for coming out. One thing, wait. One thing, we're going to leave it first. You might have to assist this. How's the temperature in here? Say it again, Mr. So we don't need $600,000 of CDBG money coming from young pockets to put the air conditioning in this building because we already have a good air conditioning in this building. That was a shame. Thank you, Pastor. Give me a prayer.